Good morning. It's a Thursday, and it's day number 130 into the year 2018, so leaves us with 235 days to go. There's still time, as they say. This morning, Nigeria's 8th Senate, huddling between an oversight and theatrics. Now, Nigeria's current Senate, the 8th in the listings, is unarguably the most publicized, and many would say attention-seeking in our history. It's not so much for the quality of legislation as it is for the varying degrees of vested interests exhibited by many of them. At other times, it is for the sheer histrionics associated with Nigerian politicians. Only yesterday, the Red Chamber lampooned the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, and declares him unfit to hold office both inside and outside of the country. The police chief had snubbed the Senate. The Senate appears to be huddling, I should say, between an oversight and theatrics. We are going to have a conversation this morning, if you like a debate. Let's meet and greet our guest. Fred Nzeako is an attorney at law and also a development economist. Welcome, Fred.
Thank you. Good morning.
We also have Dr. Omadele Boyo, a medical practitioner, also a social commentator. I greet you, Dr. Boyo.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, gentlemen, let's start from the Senate. The IG snubbed the Senate 3 times in 2 weeks, but the man says, I have my reasons for doing so.
Yes, and really he has his reasons, and he has said some of the reasons being the frequent call-up and the fact that he had asked his deputy to see the Senate. And when it was becoming very, very rough, the IG said, look, I know why you're looking for me. Like Donald Trump would say, it's a witch hunt. And you are trying to untwist me. And that whatever you're trying to get from me, I know. So the IG has played the ball in a way that public opinion is to begin to say, could there be more to it than meets the eye? So if the Senate is insisting on seeing him, and he has called their bluff, and the Senate came out to say that the IG is not fit to hold positions, I don't know why they added outside the country, within and outside the country, maybe to rub it in, you know. Yeah. And then to make it worse, they declared him an enemy of democracy, whatever that means. And I don't think the IG is perturbed. He seems to have the ears of his boss, the president, and it seems as if you look at it, he became IG in 2016, and there have been a lot of controversies around him, but the guy had been trudging on. And I believe that whether the Senate likes it or not, it's going to be 15th of January next year. So I think he's beating his time.
Okay. Fred?
I think to a very large extent, is a very dangerous trend. And such trend is hurting the democratic principles and ideals of any society. That an institution of democracy, the major bulwark of democracy, which is the legislature, which is availed constitutionally with the authority to ask some salient questions about how things are going on in the country, would invite, you can call it someone, whatever you call it, would ask the Inspector General of Police to come and then let us reason together. Come, let us reason together and know what is going on in our country.
Fred, context.
I'm coming.
Context.
I'm coming.
Go on.
Come, let us reason together and know what is going on in our country. And then the IG will snub. Like you said, for the 3rd time running, I would not want to blame the Senate for labeling the IG an enemy of democracy, because Nigerians did not all put their hands together to appoint the Inspector General of Police. Nigerians put their hands together to elect the president, believing that the president will appoint men and women of honor who would have the interests of the country at heart and work for the benefit of the country. Nigerians also put their hands together to elect the legislative members in the National Assembly, and then has asked them to represent them. That means that the individuals in the country, the millions of Nigerians, have voluntarily surrendered their individual sovereignties to these organs of government, the legislature and the executive, to pilot the affairs of the country. And then if anything is going wrong at that level, it is hurting the country, it is hurting the people. So the IG is not there to represent himself. He is there to do the biddings of Nigerians through the man they elected their president. And that is why it is only Mr. President that will call the Inspector General of Police to order. And if Mr. President himself has thrown his hands up in the air that the IG even disobeyed his own order, what does that tell you? It tells you that a lot is going wrong in our country. Now, even if the Senate asks the president to fire this IG for being an enemy of democracy, and then Mr. President refuses or ignores such appeal or such pleading, what does that tell you? It tells you that there's a lot of disconnect between the responsibilities of the executive and then the expectations of the people, especially with respect to this issue. If the IG says he knows why he's being summoned, Mr. Jones, if I ask you to come, how would you say you know why I'm asking you to come? They didn't write down. He said that he feels
it is not Nigerian.
They were bringing him to twist
Fred,
him.
it is not Nigerian.
I'm surprised that you're saying that.
I think it is begging the question.
Why are you surprised that the IG says, you know what they are calling
the
him
reasons,
for?
how can I know? I don't know.
No,
and if you claim that you know,
yes,
you'll be...
But allow him.
You see, the point is this. The IG is first degree, though in economics, in Greek, his second degree is in law. The IG is a lawyer. At the end of the day, he knows what he's doing. I'm not standing brief for the IG, and I don't have any power to do so. But this Senate you are talking about, what we are looking at is theatrics. The Senate has become what you call alawadas. They have become comedians. Because at the end of the day, important issues in this country have been toyed with, and this man could read between the lines. Well, my own opinion is that the IG ought to have responded to the call to the invitation of the Senate.
Happy you said that.
But at the end of the day, summoning somebody almost 3 times in a row and summoning all kinds of people, you will find out that the Senate itself should check itself whether it has made itself a Senate of ridicule. It may have, because at the end of the day, the calling of the IG, people know what's going on with Dino Melaye's case, which is in court. People know what's going on with the way the police handled Dino Melaye's case, which has not been the best so far. And the IG himself...
What are the killings around the country?
The killings around the country. Let me talk. When I allowed you to talk, Fred, I allowed you to talk. Even in the court of law. No, you took almost 20 minutes. I had to save you from time and save time for you.
Easy. We can't quarrel.
Yes.
I don't want us to corrupt the discussion, because the viewer is interested.
Yes.
Now, don't lose sight of it. Nigeria's 8th Senate, huddling between oversight, the original
constitutional job of the Senate,
and theatrics.
Yes, theatrics.
Fred, the word summons can be the dictionary. You can play theatrics with it. In one breath, it means an order. You can invite.
Yes.
You can ask.
Yes.
And so on.
Yes.
But in Nigeria, the Senate has summoned one person too many. Someone.
Jones, the question is
and
why?
Fred, the second leg of the question is,
yes.
if the #1 policeman is unable to attend a session with the Senate and sending his #2 man, how wrong would that be?
Very good. Let me start from the second one. Why didn't he abdicate his responsibilities at the IG to the #2 man? Why didn't he?
No, you are being cynical.
No, I'm
here.
not being. I'm not being.
Yeah. You are being cynical.
No, I'm not being. If he,
is it practicable?
No. So why won't he attend to the Senate? Someone. If he says, oh, my second can always go there. Why has he not?
Can always.
Why has he not abandoned his position to that second? So let's keep that aside.
Yeah.
Well, for whatever reason that the IG is given, I tell you, is begging the question. Because if you say the Senate has summoned the IG for several times, the reasons that have warranted such summon, have they abated? The massive killings going around the whole country on a daily basis, is it not enough to even make the Senate to be summoning the IG and the security chiefs on a daily basis? The people cannot summon them. Let us get it right. The people cannot ask the IG any question. The people cannot ask the security chiefs any question. It is only the president and the National Assembly assembly of the people, representatives of the people, that can summon and ask questions for and on behalf of the people. They are not asking any question for and of the Senate. But I'm going to very quickly, let me round up before I yield the floor. Very quickly, when they begin to talk about Dino Melaye's matter, he's only trying to trivialize the summon. Dino Melaye's matter is not the issue. The issue is the insecurity in the land. Don't forget that it took the people of Benue State to cry out aloud to Mr. President that, look, the IG that you asked to come has never come. And Mr. President said, I never knew. So that is historical disobedience, historical insubordination. And we expected an action to be taken. Action has not been taken about it up to now.
He seemed to have known what the Senate was inviting him for, though initially said nobody knows, because he seems to have also told us what the Senate was inviting him for. I want to believe that I don't know, and that the Senate itself, because the topic here is theatrics. As the Senate showed itself to be a responsible Senate in the last many years, since the 8th Senate took over, as the Senate even showed itself to be on top of the killings we are talking about. I'm not here to stand in for the Inspector General of Police. He can do that himself. And they have a legal department, and he can even, as a lawyer, he can even defend himself on the floor of the Senate. But we're looking at the method in which the Senate has gone about its duties. The killings that have taken place all over the country, whether Fulani headsmen or kidnappings and all those things, how much of it has been done? I want not just the Inspector General of Police to come. We need to talk about the security agencies. We need to talk about all these people that are directly or indirectly, from the DSS through the army and the various bodies that have been given the task of ensuring security of the country, ought to report to the Senate. There's a director of national intelligence. There's what you call that office again that Gusau used to hold at one time.
Yeah, National Security
Advisor.
Yeah.
There's a National Security Advisor.
Clearinghouse.
And the Senate, if it's talking about the killings all over the country, there should be a national probe. There should be a high-powered judicial probe about the killings. The Inspector General of Police alone cannot give a report on the killings all over the country. More so, we know that the army is involved. In some parts of the country, the Air Force is involved. So I believe that we are facing the issue of the way and manner the Senate has been invited, the 8th Senate has been inviting people to appear before it, more like a high court. Talking about contempt and things like that. The Senate ought to be more methodical and ought to take itself more seriously and do this thing wholesomely. Not just inviting piecemeal. We call the Chief of Army Staff, we call the Chief of Air Staff, we call the Inspector General of Police. If you're going to investigate the killings in this country, let's do a wholesome investigation, a neat one, with the result coming out, and a high-powered judicial commission will be better than inviting people to the House every now and then.
The issue of...
Fred, just a minute, without taking anything away from you. The offices of Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Air Staff, Naval Staff, Chief of Police, and paramilitary chiefs are appointive.
Yes, they are.
They are not elective.
They are not.
And so over time, you didn't have to talk about clearing who was going to be IG. From what you told me, it's only natural, constitutionally, to get to know a lot about who a prospective IG is. The commander-in-chief, a military man himself, knows why he makes Mr. A, IG Police, Mr. B, Chief of Army Staff, and so on.
The commander-in-chief, the current commander-in-chief is only peradventure a former soldier.
There's no peradventure. He's a former...
I say he's only peradventure because the one before him was not a soldier. So the fact that he's not operating a military regime, he's operating a civilian administration, even though his profession was soldiering. The one before him, his profession was lecturing. The one before that one, the profession was lecturing. So it's only, that's why I say it's peradventure that he happens to be a professional soldier. So, but that does not mean that the government that we are running is a military government. We are running a pure civilian government, even though it is yet.
Fred, you cannot place a finger on that statement. You don't give the impression that the current president is running the country on a military regiment.
No, I'm only trying to tell you.
No, when you run I'm
only trying to tell you.
Expand the field.
No, I'm only trying to tell you that, because you said a soldier, I said we are running a civilian administration.
But
And
this is
then in
not a military government.
That's what I'm saying.
And so-
Everybody knows that.
it-
In running a civilian administration,
Perhaps accepting you.
in running a civilian administration, Jones, the hallmark of civilian administration is the legislature. And everybody knows that the difference between the military and the civilian rule is the presence of the legislature. And that is the hallmark and the bulwark of democracy, because that is the only place where the people are represented. The only place. Everybody in the Federal Executive Council was appointed by Mr. President. Everybody in the security apparatus, the high echelon of security apparatus, was appointed by Mr. President. It is only the people in the legislature that were elected by the people. And that's why they are the people's representatives. And if you take away whatever they do, then you have taken away the sovereignty and the authority of the people.
Everything they do.
Yeah.
Now,
Fred, everything they do.
look, everything they do on the floor of the parliament, if they don't get it right, it is experimental. They are learning. If they get it right, it is well. And if they don't get it right, we'll tell them, you didn't get it right here, and then you have to adjust. You cannot breathe it down heavily on them that the authority granted to them by Section 88 of the Constitution cannot be exercised. They have to exercise that, and in exercising that, if in the process of doing that, they have to invite people to come and explain to them, through which the ordinary citizen will understand what is going on. You and I cannot sit down here and know what is going on in Adamawa unless you are told. And how are you told? The IG can never come out and tell you. But by the time the IG tells the Senate or the National Assembly, then you get to learn what is going on. And then if you have a contribution to make towards shaping and fashioning out the better democratic experiment, then you have to contribute.
All right.
The issue here is not about Section 88 of the Constitution. We already have taken that for granted. The topic is huddling between oversight and theatrics. That's what we're talking about. Because I agree with him totally, but it's not facing the issues of theatrics. We are saying that, is this 8th Senate that is there? Can I finish? Can I finish? I'm on my feet. I'm on my feet. I'm on my feet. I'm on my feet.
It's the coinage of Mr. Jones.
Well, that's why we're here. We're not here. This is not a newspaper stand where people just read Readers Club. We are taking an issue, huddling between oversight and theatrics. The oversight of the Senate is clear. And we're all in agreement with that. And the point we are facing now is that this 8th Senate, has it been doing this oversight in every aspect of the economy? Is it a thing? We're not here to like I said before, I have never met IGP Idris before. I'm only looking at the theatrical aspect of it. Is this 8th Senate a serious Senate? And are they doing this oversight thing seriously? And are they achieving result? Whether it's oversight over the budget is yet to be released. This is going to June. Whether it's oversight concerning the various departments, that there's a police. There's a police committee of the Senate. There's a justice committee of the Senate. What have these people done regarding the situation in the Northeast, regarding the situation in the South Side, regarding the situation of kidnapping? It's not just inviting people to ask them what is going on. Let me tell you, if it's about the situation in the Northeast, there are many committees and there are many chiefs of various departments that are responsible for security in this country that should be invited with the IGP. And if the IGP is indisposed, maybe by health reasons, or he had to do, one of them he had to represent the president in Bauchi, the other one in Kaduna. And so he sent his deputy IG. And he said, we're not going to listen to you. The Inspector General of Police, I agree with you, should come to the Senate and explain when it's needed. But we're looking at the fact that could there be undercurrents in this thing? And we are saying that the voice is that of Esau, but the hand is that of Jacob. We are looking at it now that these guys have, let me tell you, all these things, when things are not being...
Hold on. Let me share a little something with you. This is credited to the Premium Times. The IG said he informed Senate President Bukola Saraki in a warning letter on Tuesday he would not be honoring Senate's invitation again on Wednesday. He said he saw Wednesday's attack on his person by the senator as deliberate blackmail, witch hunting, and mischievous motives to arm twist him just to pervert the cause of justice.
Sorry, can I finish? Can I finish?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, like I said, I'm not standing in for the IGP. I'm simply facing the aspect of theatrics. I agree with the Senate. The IG should report, and the IG should give report to the Senate as well as to the presidency, because it's working for the president. But like we said, the oversight of the Senate give them the power to be able to call him at any time. So I'm not in doubt with that. But yes.
And takes you to the theatrics. You say it's my word.
Yes.
We will look for a synonym for it concerning the current Comptroller General of the Customs.
Oh, yes.
When it insisted he must come here in uniform. That's theatrical.
Jones, when you talk about theatrics, I wanted to ask that question. Where is the theatrics?
Okay.
Where is the theatrics?
Okay. Insisting, for instance, no, hold on, Fred, it's a dialogue.
Yes.
Insisting the Comptroller General, for instance, if we digress, must come here in person, dressed
in uniform.
as, in uniform.
Good.
When it's not constitutional at that point.
Let me tell you, what has happened and what has been happening is that there has been a groundswell of executive disdain for the legislature. Starting from June 6th, 2015, the very day the leadership of National Assembly emerged against the whims, caprices, and vested interests of the political parties. And the Nigerians have always said that as long as they have been elected, the interests of Nigeria should be paramount and no longer the interests of the political parties. And since that day going forward, there has been myriad of issues orchestrated by the executive to bring the legislature to public opprobrium. And I tell you this,
your words.
No, I mean, with
your words.
Carefully chosen by me.
Yeah, but your words.
They stick with me.
Yeah.
Orchestrated by
just
media,
as I use theatrics.
Yes, orchestrated by media campaigns against the legislature, trying to paint the legislature in bad light.
In that
Wait
light.
Wait a minute. Trying to paint the legislature in bad light.
Yeah.
Thereby creating the impression that the legislature is doing nothing. Let me take a cue from what my good friend Dr. Boyo said about the issue of budget. You are begging the question because the legislature have come out to say that we have slated down the day to pass this budget, and we have asked the heads of MDAs, ministries, departments, and agencies to come and defend their proposal, and they have bluntly refused.
You underline that?
I'm coming, bluntly.
You underline that?
I did. And they have bluntly refused to come and defend their budget. I have also said that if they are afraid of that word defend, let them come and explain their budget proposal. It has never happened in our democratic experiment that MDAs will not come and explain their budget proposal. So what they wanted was that as garbage in, garbage out, okay, we have sent it to you, send it back to us
quickly. Let me take. You have provoked a viewer. Chike is here. Chike, I greet you.
Hello?
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Yeah, good morning, Uncle Yuri, and welcome to your guest there.
Look at this man is Hussein Jones.
Hello?
I said this is Jones, not Yuri, but go on.
Okay, yeah, Jones, sorry about that, sorry. Now, what I want to say is I find the word theatrics insulting on the institution of our legislature. It's insulting because we seem to just we think that the only person or the only people who want the good of this country is the executive, and that is not true. Okay. We have elected these people, and we see an executive that's failing us in every way. And we're saying that solutions have to be found to the problems. Killings and all this rubbish we're seeing needs to be resolved, and you're calling people who are responsible. Somebody is saying, oh, the Inspector General of Police is it's Jesus.
Not somebody,
for us to
Dr.
not
Boyo, not somebody, not
this thing needs to be. No, please, Uncle John.
Dr. Boyo, not somebody, please. Please,
okay,
he's here.
Dr.
He's
Boyo,
here.
I don't know. I'm sorry, I didn't.
I've told you, yeah.
I don't even know the name of it. But the point is, I just came into the discussion, and I'm hearing things that anger me.
Okay.
This is the legislature is an assembly of the people of Nigeria.
That's why, as a responsible and responsive TV station, we provoke these debates just to, so you know. Thank you.
Yeah, but
Let's leave it there. Just a minute,
Yes.
so I don't lose it.
Yes.
Can you go to the issue of Ovie Omoagege?
Very good.
And that's Boyo's senator.
Yes.
You don't see any element of theatrics there?
So who generated the theatrics?
The presidency?
No, I'm coming.
No.
No, I'm coming. No, I'm coming.
I'm to
I
ask.
didn't say,
So who did?
I'm asking you. I didn't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Then you are not being honest.
Is Ovioma Agege that generated the theatrics? All right?
Is he of the
who?
executive?
Or by who?
Is he of the
Jones,
executive?
before I go there, I wanted to tell you
Yeah.
that issue of budget, Nigerians don't really understand what has been going on. And it pains me as a development economist that an executive or a government, let me say a government, that has promised Nigerians that our budget cycle year will be running January to December. We are in May. 2018 budget.
Fred, this government includes, hold on,
no, I'm saying,
the executive,
that
the
was why,
legislature,
that was why I used the word,
and
Jones, I used my words very carefully. And that's why I said, a government promised us.
When you say government in Nigeria, people look at the presidency.
That is why I said a government. I didn't say the executive. The government promised us. Government is executive, legislature, and the judiciary. Nigerians, no, they're not all that illiterate. The government promised us that, and it's not coming. Where is the blame coming from? Everybody is now trying to shift the buck. Everybody is now trying to pass the blame. And I tell you that it is not only the legislature that should be blamed. Where the executive has blame, you blame. Just do you know that over 11 bills have been passed, worked on, completed, harmonized, passed by the legislature, awaiting accent by Mr. President.
All right.
No accent is coming.
There are some other bills which should also have been touched. Just a minute, I'll take this call. Jimmy is here from Ekpe, Lagos. Greetings. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, I greet you. You are on air.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, I greet you.
I think, Citizen Jones, good morning.
I greet you, sir.
I think what we are practicing in this country is, can you hear me?
Okay, go on, sir.
Okay. I think what we are practicing in this country is called the animal farm. It is only in this country that you see people, big men. Yeah, I can hear you. It is only in this country you have big men charged to court, and the next thing you hear is, I'm not feeling well, I need to go to abroad. What the Senate is doing, it's not today that we have people being charged to court and nothing happened. Senate did not do anything. Naked people are charged to court, we didn't hear anything from the Senate. Now, because of Dino Melaye, forget about whatever they are talking about, these killings in this country. Who they need to call is the Interior Minister. The Interior Minister will bring all the other service chiefs, all the security chiefs, and we come and defend what is going on in this country. Calling the Inspector General of Police. Okay, what if the Senate President is not around? The Deputy Senate President represents. Why must we call the IG to come and defend? What if the IG is not feeling well? Will you bring him on wheelchair to come and defend what is going on in this country? That's why we have the institution of. That's why we have the institution.
Yeah.
The Deputy Inspector General can represent the IG. Yeah. Why do we need to go to all this because of nothing?
Okay. Yeah. Many thanks. We got it. Yeah, Dr. Boye.
I think he has been standing in for the Senate, if I may say that, because he's been defending the Senate.
The issue standing in for the IG.
No. The issue, I made it very clear. The issue here is that both the Senate and the executive have not solved the problem of this country. And they should be held responsible for the lawlessness and the killings all over the country. We can't hold one person. The Senate and the House of Rep can institute a high-powered probe into all these things and get the result and go down and whoever is responsible can be found to be wanting and can be dealt with. Now, coming back to talking about the rule, oversight of the Senate, there are so many departments, so many committees in the Senate that have oversight functions regarding the various ministries that the executive are looking into. And I will expect the Senate not just to call the Inspector, and I've said it over and over again, the Inspector General of Police has every reason to respond to calls
I
of the
pause you
Senate.
there. We must go on break. 30 seconds. Fred, the last caller just talked about the Minister of the Interior. Is he in the picture here?
I think the last caller jumped into the program and has not been following. Otherwise, he wouldn't have laid those foundations. The security chiefs are not answerable to the Minister of Interior. So the Minister of Interior has no locus, no authority to even summon them or to bring them to the Senate.
All right. We must go on this break and return. Please don't go away. Nigeria's 8th Senate huddling between oversight and theatrics. We'll be back. Well, I'm mighty glad you are there at the TV, soaking everything in. I have Dr. Boyo, public affairs analyst and medical doctor, and of course, Fred Nzako, attorney at law, development economist. He once tried to be a member of the House in Anambra State.
Oh, sure. And
which is saying you could have been, that's the smaller version of the senator at your state level.
Of course.
And then you talk about oversight functions.
Yes.
You can summon someone
Yes.
in block capitals,
Yes.
your governor, or invite.
You see, Jones, you had earlier given the various definitions of the word summon. And then someone does not have negative connotation.
If it does not come,
Right.
If the governor at that point does not come,
The governor at the state level is equivalent to the president at national level.
Well, yeah.
So whatever words, whatever semantics you use for Mr. President at national level will also go well for the governor at the state level.
Good,
so if the Senate can summon Mr. President, then the State House can summon Mr. Governor.
It is the mood,
Yes.
the style in the summons, that's it, because I don't see the American Senate ordering Mr. Trump to visit them.
Yeah, but you didn't use the word ordering. You said summon. Ordering is different from summon.
I'm saying expand the word.
That's what I'm saying. We have expanded it the much we can. We cannot give it extra legs beyond what the dictionary has said.
If we said, no, come on, your dictionary
can also be
it can also be an order.
But
if you invite, it
Yes.
should be invite in block capitals. You know, the writing press will give you some of these words, theatrics, summon, and blah. Now, let me expand the logic.
Yes.
At the Senate, 109 of them,
Yes.
60 of them are APC members.
Yes.
So, and a mere 49, so APC has a simple majority at the Senate. And you're wondering, why won't the Senate be on the same page with the executive?
I mean, they were wondering is as good as my own wondering.
Okay, let's tear the bag.
Yes, because Nigerians have been saying that the party called APC is failing Nigeria. Even the APC members themselves were alluded to.
Are you speaking for Nigerians?
Even the APC, I'm speaking for myself.
So don't say
So
Nigerians.
say
It is you. It is you.
And those who believe on the same,
rubbing
on the
it
same
in,
page
but
with me,
go on.
that the party is failing Nigerians. Even the party members will tell you that they are failing Nigerians because there's no reason why the executive and legislature will not be on the same page to move Nigeria forward. They have the majority in every aspect. At the National Executive Council, National Council
In fact,
of States.
in 24 states.
National Council of States, they have the majority
in 24
everywhere.
states,
So,
out of 36. Let me take Shegun is here. Good morning, Shegun.
Good morning, President Jose.
How do you do, sir?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Please, my take in this, let me just quickly go into it. If in my own locality, we can call the police, they will not come. They will not respond to our call. The Senate over there, which has the oversight, supposed to know that this has been happening in our locality, which we have called their attention to several times. Now they are angry, calling the IG. The IG refused to come. Please, what I think concerning the oversight issue is that let them come up with a very good policy that will go down to the simple Nigerian, the common Nigerian out there. When a common Nigerian out there can call a policeman, and if the policeman will respect that person, definitely similar thing can also come to them. I agree with Doctor. Let them come with a very good policy. Not because they love Milaye today, because no. Let them come with a very good oversight function. That, okay, this is what we are looking at. Ordinary Nigeria should be able to pick up his phone and call the policeman. I'm having an issue.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Many thanks.
So,
Fred Nzako, so sorry, let me be done with him.
Yes.
So if we go back a little,
Yes.
if the MDAs have refused to come forward, what should the Senate do?
Jones, you know what the Senate should do.
I don't know.
I will
That's
tell you
I'm
what the
asking.
Senate should do.
Yeah.
If the MDAs refuse to come forward, who are the MDAs, the heads, appointed by Mr. President? The only person that will be held responsible is Mr. President.
For the MDAs
For the actions
refusing.
of the MDAs, yes.
So wherein lies the oversight function? Okay, Fred.
And that is why when people begin to talk about impeachment of Mr. President, they say, they are going to a sacred zone. Because what it means is that Mr. President has not been given the right directives to the people he appointed.
No.
He has not been.
No.
I'm coming. He openly said it publicly that he was
will
shocked
not.
that the people have said, sack some people who are not working well. He has not. Reshuffle these people who are not doing well.
You know my
He has
trouble
not.
in all of this.
Look,
No, Fred.
I mean,
you know
so
my
in all
trouble.
this,
Easy.
it's Mr. President that will hold
Lest
squarely
you say
accountable.
I'm gagging you. Here it is you. You are not representing the people. Tell me what you think. The president, in your estimation, has asked MDA chiefs not to come forward
Jones, I'm not
and defend their budget?
I'm not representing the people. Within this space of time, I have a very huge opportunity and privilege
To speak for the people.
For the people.
Okay.
And I am speaking for
As-
the people.
as who?
It does not
As
mean
who?
that all
As
the people.
who?
It does not mean that all
As
the
who?
people, as Fred Nzako, it does not mean that all the people will agree with me, but a lot number of people who will agree with me are equally Nigerians. Dr. Boyo will speak for some people who agree with him. So don't say I'm not speaking for the people. I am speaking for a large majority of the people.
Fred,
Jones,
it is not you versus. Hold on, it's not you versus Dr. Boyo.
I know.
And with Jones as the
I
middleman.
know.
Almost 30
I know.
minutes.
So-
when it's just that not allow me to land.
Well, Fred
No,
is a lawyer, so
you are not allowing me to land. When the people have elected Mr. President with all the huge capacities and authorities in his hands, and the people Mr. President has appointed are not doing what they are supposed to do, what do you expect people to do?
all right, hang the question because your namesake has been provoked into calling in from Port Harcourt. Fred is here. Fred, I greet you.
Hello.
Yeah, Fred, welcome.
Yeah. Good morning.
Yeah.
It's so unfortunate that we have elders, old men leading Nigeria, and we're seeing what we're not doing anything about it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're on.
Okay. Do you know what we're practicing in this country? We're going to anarchy. If a whole police officer can't respond to people higher than him, how does he expect the ones under him to respond to him? And yet, there are some people up there still saying that what he did is wrong, is right. If the Senate will call him and if he's answering us, how are we sure that the people under him will call him and he will attend? What he did is wrong. They told him to release Peace Corps office. Up there, release the office. They told him to come to answer to a call at the Senate. Senate that rules Nigeria. He hasn't answered. And yet, there are people still saying that what he's doing is right. Let's be frank now. What he's doing is wrong. What we follow rules and orders. We're not animals. Let's understand what we're doing here. Follow rules and regulations and let's behave ourselves there. We're all graduates. People know what's happening outside there. What he's doing is wrong.
Thank you, Fred, except that in our history, however checkered, I do recall that the Senate over time, not the 8th Senate specifically, has flouted court rules over time. Fred will say yes to this.
I don't agree.
I don't agree with you. Trying to say.
All right.
I think Fred is, as he said, it's something for majority of people. Maybe he will likely contest this time, maybe presidency and win, because these people that have won elections that can speak on behalf of the people. If you have not won an election, you give your own opinion, and your opinion could be bought by others, and tomorrow they can say they are following you. I can speak for the people myself. I can speak for just the facts in front of me. The first thing here is that we must keep on focusing on the topic we have here, oversight function and theatrics. The oversight function of the Senate can be done beautifully without all this comedy we are seeing here. Like we said, the MDAs who have refused to submit, or I won't use the word refuse, who have failed to show up, have ministers.
According to the Senate.
According to the Senate. They have ministers that you don't relate directly to the Senate, you relate through your minister. And if the ministers themselves are summoned and they can talk for the MDAs, and the MDAs have refused to show up, can be penalized.
The ministers
I'm coming. They can be penalized. They can be penalized because this budget is very important and we all need the budget to work.
Sorry,
now,
let me quickly go
I
to
hope
Kaduna.
You get back to me.
No,
again.
we will.
Okay.
I will. Kaduna, good morning. I'm sorry I missed the name. Give us a name.
Good morning, citizen Uwen.
All right, Udensu 1.
Good morning.
I greet you, sir.
Yes, I am Chidi, calling from Kaduna.
Chidi, you are on now.
Good. I want to say good morning to Barrister Nzako and Dr. Boyo there.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, I am delighted in the discussions you people are having, which is very robust and lively. My own take is that, as a matter of fact, the Inspector General ought to have gone to answer the National Assembly since he was properly invited to come to the Senate to address one issue or the other in as much as his responsibility as the nation's security chief is concerned. So whoever that is playing with the security of Nigeria, as far as the Nigerian police is concerned, that is not correct. So something reasonable has to be done. Good morning and have a blessed day.
Many thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, and I will continue to restate this. Failure of the Inspector General to respond to a Senate invitation is wrong. We're not doubting that. And it has not been an issue on the floor of this House. But what we have been saying is the Senate itself has to respect itself and conduct its affairs in a way that people will respect it back. Respect is reciprocal. There's a way you conduct your affairs, no matter how highly placed you are, that you may not be able to get the respect you deserve because of the way you have carried yourself. And it started from the beginning of this Senate. If you look at this, look at their earnings and bringing their earnings to the table to discuss. People have had that over and over again, and nobody had been able to know exactly. Even when the senator came up, Shehu Sani came up, the Senate could not even talk about it. And at the end of the day, people are not happy with the Senate in its own oversight functions itself. And people are now saying, it's not just inviting people and summoning people, do your work. I'm not in support of anybody flouting any invitation to the Senate. We are saying that the Senate should concentrate on their oversight function and achieve results, and let the result be so glaring to everybody that they will see, and justify their huge pay. We cannot sit down here and watch this. The executive has not performed well in the area of security. Nobody is giving them a pass mark. If the executive is failing, that's why we have what they call oversight. That's what they call is overseeing the executive. If the executive is failing in the area of security in this country, let the Senate stand up and
talk about checks and balances.
Checks and balances.
Fred, not to incite or excite you in any way, Senator Dino Melaye led his team to the Comptroller General's office, and there was a little drama there. Let the CG come down. The CG said, I had sent my protocol officer to welcome you, take you to the conference room and so on. And at that point, the Senate beat a retreat and said the man simply was not honoring them.
Jones, we cannot continue to dwell on public gallery.
Okay.
And then begin to do, I'm coming.
Theatrics, yeah.
Or theatrics. The executive withdrew $496 million from our federation account and paid without even the knowledge of National Assembly. Meanwhile, the information available to us says that the 12 Tucano aircrafts were going for 600 million, that the 496 million was a part payment.
Are we here to indict
I'm coming,
the executive?
I'm coming. Was a part payment. These are things that are...
Related to
what we're discussing.
I'll bring it here.
But let me quickly take Benga. I'm sorry. Benga, welcome. Oh, sorry.
bring it here.
Yeah, okay. Related.
These are things that are...
So what did the Senate? What did the
clearly-
Senate do at that point?
These are things that are clearly
Please come in time.
stipulated in the Constitution.
Yeah.
That
Does it
it
relate
is
to
a clear
the
breach
Melaye's
of
case?
the fundamentals of the Constitution. I'm not interested in Melaya's matter.
Oh, then leave
For
it
goodness
alone.
sake, I'm not. And I said it
That's a
before.
question
that
on the
bringing
floor.
the
Right.
Malaya on this table is trivializing our discussion.
Just as
it
you are
doesn't concern
bringing
me.
what does not
Naturally,
I'm coming to the picture.
Whether the Comptroller
Fred,
General
Fred,
went down to receive them
Fred,
or not is trivializing the issue.
It's
I
an
am
issue
remaining
you are
within
asking
the
to
con-
answer.
I am remaining
Easy.
within the confines
Fred,
of the law.
It's not a shouting
and
match.
the issues that
You are
bother
not,
the nation.
Don't outshout.
Okay.
I don't have to outshout you either.
Okay.
Nobody wins a laurel here.
Yes, yes.
Nigerians are watching.
Yes.
We are saying at a time like this.
But don't try to take away the rug upon which I'm standing. Go ahead.
You brought the rug?
Oh, no, I'm standing on it.
Okay. I am saying the topic, Nigeria's 8th Senate,
Yes.
huddling, that's jumping between oversight and theatrics. You don't like the word theatrics, but if I took you to Dino Melaye at this customs headquarters, you are saying we shouldn't go there.
Because you are dwelling on theatrics.
We are not in charge of
And
the
I
show.
Said, yeah, you
But
are
the
not in charge of the
theatrics
show.
are-
You are dwelling on theatrics.
You agreed long before now that
Yes.
it's the way of politicians. Histrionics. Okay, another word is histrionics.
Look, Jones.
Playing to the gallery.
Jones, if you say that all that they do there is playing to the gallery,
I have not said
saying that.
so.
It's not saying that.
then
Fred,
you're not fair.
Fred,
They're not
Then
saying
you're not
that.
fair
They're not
at
saying
all.
Maybe
If
maybe
Can I-
people
can
like
I-
you scared me away from law.
Can I come? At the end of the day, I think he has an axe to grind with the executive because he's talking about so many. I have so many things I've observed in the executive that is not right, even with Senate. But we won't have to face the issue. Incidentally, you are the one in charge. And when you throw the questions, we are on them. We just have to look for an answer for what we are saying. We don't have to say we don't have an answer.
Pause you slightly. Yakub is here. Yakub, welcome. You are in Lagos here.
Yeah, good morning, good Citizen Jones.
Welcome.
And then good morning, Mr. Abu and then Mr. Fred.
Yeah, thank you.
It is clear to me this morning that Mr. Fred already made up his mind to come here to defend the
It is his right.
National Assembly.
Yakub, say your own. It is his right. Go on.
Fine. Because you throw some questions to him, but he's trying to divide the question. The reason being that when you mentioned that when Dino Melaye goes to DG Custom, and then they had the DG Custom to come down to come and welcome them. And then DG Custom told him that he already sent some certain people to come and welcome them. But Mr. Fred trying to telling us that Mr. President pay for some certain amount of money while the National Assembly are not awarded it to. And then the U.S. President already tell us that this is so amount that he paid. But I was saying that you are telling us that the Senate, they have the right to invite the Inspector General of Police. Yes, there's no doubt about it. But the Inspector General of Police already direct the DG assistant to him to go and attend to them, and then also say that this is the Senate that you are here to defend. When it comes to devolution of power, the time they are trying to amend their constitution, when they get to devolution of power, what are they doing to it? They voted it down. Nothing happened. The budget has been lying down there for almost 7 months. I can tell you, they invited the Inspector General of Police all because of Dino Melaye. Nothing more, nothing else.
That's your opinion. Yakub, that's your opinion, and you are entitled to it. I am saying this morning on this small table, the facts are here, and we provoke the debate from the facts and allow you, the viewer, to make up your mind. Yes. No, I had to release pause.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I paused him.
Yes, because at the end of the day, whether the president ordered planes or not is not the issue. The Senate has been carrying out histrionics and theatricals in the way they have even done so many other things. It doesn't justify the executive. I'm not here to support the executive or to support the Senate. I'm here to look at the issues as they are. If you go somewhere to somebody's territory and you say you want to see the DG or the Controller General, and Controller General said, look, we're going to meet at the conference room. You come in, and I've sent a protocol to receive you. That is enough for a senator. And what was he going there for? He's not in the Senate Committee on Customs or Immigration or anything of that sort. He was going there to see the DG on an appointment. And then he now went back and it turned into news. When you create a storm in a teacup, this is what happens. These issues, because what we are looking at is ethics, gentleman behavior. You are called a distinguished senator. You can still carry out this thing without throwing dust and inviting hell. You just go there and say, oh, I need to see you. I'm coming to the office. Right in the conference room there, you can tell the GG, I'm not happy the way you didn't come to greet me now. What happened? That can sort it out. That can settle the matter. And that's what we call. That's what we talk about theatrics and histrionics. Now he went back. The same thing too with several other things that this same guy had done. I'm not here to pick bones with anybody, but just to take the matter the way it is. Yes.
You don't.
And there are no bones really.
Fred. Then we talk about Omo Agege. Let me go back there because he's a senator, his own senator, Dr. Boyo's senator. What has happened? The Senate was invaded. Not by people sent by the executive, but by people purportedly brought in by the senator himself. So what has the Senate done here?
What do you expect the Senate to do?
To deal with it. Invite somebody or go straight to the bag. Somebody,
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Because, there's a terrible trend in Nigeria that once you hold an opinion that is different from another person's opinion, they will say, you have been bought. I've been severally labeled of speaking for the Senate, but you know that I don't, right?
Mukhtar in Kano won't label you. Yeah. Welcome, Mukhtar.
Hello, good morning.
I greet you, sir.
Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir.
I greet you, Mr. Jones.
I greet you, sir. Welcome.
Let me contribute on the issue of the Senate and oversight function. You see, democracy is not about representation. The Senate as yet represents the people. So if an IG has been invited and he delegated somebody to represent him, I don't think that is wrong. And the Senate are degrading themselves because on every simple minor issue, they take a decision. Look at the decision on a plea. Look at the decision of something like that. They will suspend you because the Constitution says every local government must be represented. But the Senate refused that because of their individual interest. They degrade themselves. That's why some people are not respecting them as they should. They should look squarely and objectively at the affairs of the nation. They are there to help the nation and to represent the nation for development and peace. But instead of doing that, they do things, they enact laws to satisfy their own interest. I think they should check themselves. Why were the previous Senate not being disrespected?
Mukhtar, I thank you very kindly.
So while I am not afraid of being tagged a defender of the legislature, I am a defender of the system. Wherever the system goes wrong, and I have the opportunity to speak up against it, I will. Now, you are going back to the issue of Omo Agege. The natural question I ask is, in that hallowed chamber, there is even a division of the Nigerian police, National Assembly Police Division. You cannot enter that National Assembly in the three-armed zone without being thoroughly searched. That is one. Two, the people moved in and out. Meanwhile, the vehicle with which they came for that operation, we saw the clips, was parked on the driveway. You cannot even park your vehicle on the driveway, and the security in National Assembly will not ask you to park properly. So there is a lot of things that are begging for questions. And that is why I am not interested in all that. Because, like he said, there's a hand of Esau and the voice of Jacob.
Okay.
The problem is that we are yet to know who the Esau is and who the Jacob is.
At least you have identified two people.
Yes.
All right, Benga is our last caller, not the least. Welcome.
All right, Mr. Jones, good morning.
I greet you, sir.
All right, good morning to your panelists.
Good morning. Good morning.
Mr. Fred Udako and Dr. Boyo.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Yes, well, My opinion, I don't know when Fred Isiako became a spokesperson for
this morning, go on.
Yes, I don't know when Fred Isiako
It became so this morning. Go ahead, go on.
For the Senate. And you see, the issue, yes, the issue is that I believe that the Senate have rights to call the IG. But the issue is that they have trivialized everything. I think the person they should have called is to listen specifically to the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki. He said, we are inviting IG because of to come and tell us, and we will use that opportunity. That was his exact statement. You can go back and listen to him. So their intention was to invite the IG purposely because of not because of people that are being killed every day.
Thank you.
And however, people that are being killed every day, when a policeman slaps somebody in Lagos, how many times has the senators or the National Assembly intervened?
Okay.
They will not until when.
All right. We must.
Thank you very much.
Many thanks. Dr. Boyo, in closing, because time is the master here, we are saying the three arms of government are independent.
Yes.
Inclusive of the Senate, which is in the mirror here. In closing, do you think the Senate should be independent of the country?
No. The Senate, even the three arms that are independent, they're also mutually dependent. In other words, the Senate, and for the country to run effectively, the three arms, though independent, must work as a team to get things done. I think what the Senate lacks now, which is questionable because very, very, very subjective, is the word credibility. When you lack credibility, people begin to question your motives. If you have high credibility in the area of your earnings, in the area of the way you have been carrying out your jobs and bills and getting things done in this country, you will get the credibility to talk for you. So I will say that for now, my own personal opinion, the Senate lacks credibility and is affecting the summoning of the IGP. The IGP ought to have come, but the credibility of the Senate will not make people believe them that they are doing the right thing.
Stop here. Yeah.
Which organ of government has credibility?
You have said
as we speak. Which organ of government? In this country, Supreme Court justices were routed in the middle of the night, all in the name of anti-corruption fight. In this country, so many things are going wrong. And which organ of government, which arm of government has all the credibility that we need? In some regions, we will keep going round and round in a circle until we tell ourselves the home truth, and that home truth is to restructure Nigeria.
Okay, thank you. We'll leave it on that note. Dr. Omadele Boyo, I thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
And no less so, Barrister Fred Isiako, many thanks.
Many thanks.
Are you still eyeing the...
No, sure.
Wish you Godspeed.
Thank you. It's a sustained ambition.
All right. We must draw the curtains here, but not before asking, do we speak as they do in America? The pun is simple. What's the opposite? Okay, if the opposite of pro is con, what's the opposite of progress?
Congress.
I'm out of here. Tomorrow we'll be here. I join Yori bright and early. Good morning.